And the reason that the ANC give us is because, no, they don't want to go ahead with it because they're busy exploring actually doing a national DNA database for all citizens. So, I mean, that's the kind of crazy thinking that's going on inside the ANC. That doesn't make it better. I mean, it actually still equally, it's just as horrific, The fact that he made that point, he's like, no, it's not 225, it's 208, as though, he's winning the war.
Please go check out rebelstoreza.com. Their winter range is now available. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Real Moments. Real Moments are clips from videos or interviews that I think you might find interesting. I know some of you may not have the time to watch the full hour-long video or interview, so I thought these Real Moments can also double up as a bit of a teaser, if you will. And who knows, maybe if you enjoy this clip, you might want to watch the full video. Links to the full video or interview are always in the description below. Also, if you want to donate to the show, there's a link in the description for you to do just that. You can now contribute to the show for as little as 40 Rand a month via debit order. Also, there are now some exclusive perks if you're a member. T's and C's apply. This is only available through Quicket. Or you can visit my website for various options on how to contribute to the show. Donations are not a must, but they're greatly appreciated and go a long way to supporting the channel. And of course, subscribing is always free. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, here is your real moment. And we were talking about the National Assembly and your speech. I wanted to know, this National Assembly, can you explain what the point of it was? I mean, I get that you went and you spoke in Parliament and you're making it more aware and stuff, but like, what happens after that? I mean, are we going to see some progress? Is it just a way to pressure the government? What has anything happened since your speech? Enlighten us.
Yeah, so it's a really good question. So, I mean, in terms of the rules of Parliament, which are, not everybody reads, not the most, certainly for politicians, a must read. In terms of the rules of Parliament, you can request a debate of urgent national importance, right? So in order to get a debate onto the order paper of Parliament, you would submit a notice of motion, you in Parliament, and then the political parties would decide which topic is going to be debated. I submitted a request for an urgent debate of national importance because I felt that this was an issue that should be elevated to that level. And it was really a test of whether the ANC would concede that this is actually an issue of national importance. Otherwise, it sort of stays in the committee, if that makes sense, Joe. So it doesn't really into the chamber in the kind of prominence that it deserves. And that's what that debate did. It put it front and center on the national agenda. I have never done more media interviews in my life than I did in those 48 hours, because people were just blown away. So it achieved a very important thing that I hadn't been able to achieve for about 18 months because nobody wanted to listen to me, and I was going crazy thinking I'm barking up the wrong tree. But finally, there was this rallying cry in the public domain, which was a massive victory. That's the first thing. Secondly, I know that the president got feedback from that speech. So, obviously my message landed on his desk that he's complicit in this crisis. And the other thing is that, the week after that, we went to the forensic laboratories in Pretoria. So we actually went to ground zero, if I can call it that, to go and see and talk to the people involved to get a better understanding of how the system works as politicians. And how does the system work? We're talking to scientists and experts in the field, police officers. And the biggest victory is that the committee is unanimous on this issue. We might fight over small details, but I mean, politically, there's no partisan politics on this issue. We want to get it solved. I'm not going to be complacent about that. I don't trust the ANC as far as I can throw them. So I really do want to keep up the pressure. So going to the laboratories was important. I need to get to the Cape Town laboratories. We went to Pretoria. I now need to get to the Cape Town laboratories. I'm talking to, experts in the field of DNA, civil society organizations, gender-based violence, groups, trying to get them more excited about championing this issue together with me. And ultimately, it's up to the minister to make the change happen, Joe. And, that's where the greatest frustration in opposition politics comes. I will do whatever I can within my power, but I'm not the minister. I'm just the shadow. And as long as I'm the shadow, I can appeal to the ministers. Appeal to the minister. I can appeal to the president. We can talk. We can debate. But at the end of the day, they've got to fix the system, and that's what they say they're doing. So I'm very impressed with the turnaround plan that we now have, and the funding that has gone with it. Some contracts have been renewed, so there is some progress. But I'm still a bit doubtful about whether or not they're going to be able to achieve the turnaround that they think they're going to achieve in the period that they think they're going to do that, which is 18 months. I think it's going to take much longer. Something much more drastic needs to be done. And that's why we actually proposed, Joe, sorry to just the last thing, we actually proposed to outsource the reference index samples. So there's crime index, and you've got to be very careful with those. And then there's reference index, outsource what you can to private laboratories or to university laboratories under an MOU, where they can then deal with part of your backlog. And I don't know why they're dragging their feet on that. They just don't seem to be. There doesn't seem to be the urgency required to deal with the situation.
Yeah, see, you sound very optimistic, which is not bad. It's just, I don't know. I think me and a lot of South Africans may feel this way. Like, it's hard and difficult to see the hope. And while your efforts are greatly appreciated, don't get me wrong, men like you and ministers like you and men and women like you, we need you in our society, to keep up the pressure and check and make sure everything's happening. But Andrew, I got to be honest, man. Sele has basically ignored 9 court orders. I've watched some of those committee meetings. He has 1,000 excuses as to what's happening. I mean, he even said like one found out about it by chance. How? You're the police minister.
Yeah.
How do you find out about it by chance? That's BS. No. I mean, you're just proving your incompetence for your own job, really, is what you've done. Yeah. But, with that kind of attitude that he has, like, and he says, when he's under the spotlight, he says all the right things, of course. But I mean, just the other day, I believe it was the police commissioner, someone said that the police are stretched beyond their means. They can't keep up with anything. It's a worrying situation. And honestly, I think you as being part of the opposition and stuff, I understand, like you just said, there's eventually a ceiling that you hit, but surely there must be something in the law, in the Constitution, I don't know, you would know better than I would, that can allow you to kind of, I don't know, overstep, do something to say, hey, you know what, say that you're not doing your job, like almost like a mutiny, if I can put it that way, but not violent, just, because we can't keep on living like this. You know what I mean?
Well, it's called elections, Joe. That's where the mutiny happens. That's where the overthrow has to happen. And I know, it's the political answer, but it's actually the honest answer. That's the mechanism. That's the rule. That's what exists in the law in order to change the situation, whether you vote for the DA or not, or whatever. I mean, people have not, in my opinion, fully embraced the opportunity that elections present in this country. I mean, we've got a very small percentage of people who actually register to go out and vote, and then people don't turn out and vote on election day. And so we have to play the hand that we dealt. And in that situation, it does make things difficult for all of us. And I get it. I get where you're coming from. I have dark days, Joe. I struggle to see the light some days, but it's always there. And I have to believe the minute I stop seeing the light is that I've got to get out of politics. I've got to go and do something else, because how can I encourage you to believe if I don't believe, right? And I must tell you, going to the forensic laboratories in Pretoria the other day gave me such hope, Joe. I mean, in spite of all this chaos, I met some of the most unbelievable people who are doing the most world-class work. I mean, we are, it sounds so weird because it's in such a state of chaos at the moment, but we are world renowned for our national DNA forensic database. We are renowned for our legislation. And that's a whole nother topic for another discussion. But I mean, the minister has been sitting on an amendment bill, for a good few years now. It's a complex issue, but I mean, basically, it's a bill that's required in order to ensure that all our convicted Schedule 8 offenders can be compelled to submit their DNA to the convicted Schedule 8 offenders database. And at the moment, you can't compel them to do that.
Yes.
That bill is outstanding for 4 years or so. And the reason that the ANC give us is because, no, they don't want to go ahead with it because they're busy exploring actually doing a national DNA database for all citizens. So, I mean, that's the kind of crazy thinking that's going on inside the ANC. And so you want to talk about mutiny. Let's talk about the 27th of October, when people can really send a message to government and say, you guys have lost the plot. Expropriation without compensation. You want to take away firearms for self-defense. You can't manage the forensic laboratories. You're defunding the police and funding the VIPs. And now you want to take our DNA of every single citizen in the country, which is obviously unconstitutional and completely unaffordable, to do what with? Exactly. Like this weird dystopian world that we now, sort of is all that we now sort of starting to live in, where they actually, he's not even embarrassed to tell us that he wants to take the DNA of every South African citizen, put it on a database. I mean, it's just bizarre.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, was your real moment. This is your second reminder to please subscribe to my channel. Please like and comment below. Let me know what you think. If you enjoyed this content, please share it with friends and family. Also, check out the Joe Emilio Show Telegram channel. It's a channel, not a group, so you won't be bombarded by weird memes and information. It's really just a notification channel for you to be notified of all my upcoming uploads and live streams. Link is in the description. You can also watch more of my content here or here, somewhere in this general area. Just check it out. You might like it. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, stay safe, be kind to one another, and I'll see you at the next one. Cheers.